Hey guys, welcome back. Today we're in the wood shop. So I've had this slab for a really long time. I cut this off of a tree that was dead in the backyard, but still had some good wood, so bought myself a cheap chainsaw mill, milled it down. You can actually see the rough edge on the back side. These top faces I put through the thickness planer to smooth everything out, and then I let it sit for a few years. I didn't really have a real project for it, but I thought, hey, it'd be nice to have some random boards I can make something out of. It's pretty thick. It's about 2 inches thick. Maybe, yeah, 1 3/4 thick. It started out as 2 inches. But I just decided that I'm going to make a small table out of this guy. Something to go in the living room next to a chair. But as it was sitting for a long time, it developed some cracks. So I got a big crack running along right here and a small one right there. So I obviously glued it, clamped it, put that together. But basically now I need to keep it from shifting. So we're going to do the trendy thing a few years after it was trending and put some bow ties in it. Alright, so this is the first time I've ever really done bow ties, but I think I'm going to put basically at least 2 right here, one here, and then one on the opposite end where that other crack is forming. What I have to do it, so it's just some generic walnut we picked up from Home Depot for a project for work a long time ago. These were the scraps, so I took it to the bandsaw, did a little bit of resaw action to thin it out because we don't need it to be that thick. And so what I'm going to do is we're going to start by drawing our little bow tie shape here. Then we're going to cut that out in the bandsaw. Then I'm going to trace it and sink it in just like any other inlay. So the nice thing about the bow ties is they don't have to be perfect or symmetric. In fact, the asymmetry kind of adds to some charm. But I do want my lines to be straight. So cut out basically a small one right here. Make it pretty shallow. That's about where the crack will be. I'll make them pretty shallow as far as the angle goes, because I want more of the wood to be there. I don't want it to, crack. I don't want this to crack. So there's our basic bow tie shape. I might bring these ones in just a little more. Alright, now to the bandsaw. There's our basic little bow tie. I am going to just kind of true it up a little bit, but we're pretty good there. Alright, so I've got some emery cloth on a block of wood, and we're just going to use that to true up those edges, because I got a little bit squirrely and a little bit curvy with the bandsaw. There we go. And just do that to the other sides. Okay, so we got that all cleaned up. Now I've got it clamped to the board, and the board clamped to the table. The reason for that is I really don't want this to move at all. And I am going to just trace the shape so things are a little more visible. But what I'm really going to do is take a marking knife, in this case just a classic Stanley, and I am going to very carefully create a little bit of a knife wall around this guy. The most important thing is going to be that I don't overshoot, because I don't want to scratch the visible surface. So everything inside is going to get cut, but everything out here, oh, I did a tiny scratch there. I am going to sand this and plane it again, so that'll probably not be a big deal. But our goal is very light scratches and not to go past the edge. So that's our bow tie. So now what we gotta do is take some chisels and start chopping that out. Hopefully this doesn't shake the camera too much, but what I'm gonna do is go just a little bit inside of that knife mark and chop everything. And then eventually, when I get closer, once I've already scooped out most of the inside, we're going to use the chisel against that knife wall edge to just get that last little bit. Alright, so now bevel side down, I'm going to just start removing the waste. This is pretty similar to how Paul Sellers teaches you to chop a mortise. But yeah, I'm just going to carry on removing the waste material. Alright, I've got a first layer mostly down, so now what I'm going to do is the same sort of thing, bevel side inwards against the face I've been cutting against, chop a little deeper on each of these. And then excavate more. Okay, so 3 layers down, got the bottom pretty smooth. I've had to switch out to a couple smaller chisels just to get into the tight areas, but you can see our little bow tie is just about fitting. So now what I'm going to do, go back to my bigger 1/2 inch chisel, or 3/4 inch chisel, go along my knife wall line that I made before, and chop straight down. just removing that little bit of waste. And on this side, remove that waste. Alright, see how she fits. Pretty good. I just need to clean out this corner a little better. Just going to pare that down by hand, using the other face as a reference. Alright, that pretty much will do it, because we want it to be a little bit tight. Alright, now get our glue. I'm using some Type Bond 3 for no other reason than it's the closest glue to me. Spread it around. Normally I use Type Bond 2 for everything. I just think I may have left that inside. 3 is a little more water resistant, I think. I don't know if there's any real benefits to using it over 2, or any detriments. Hopefully not detriments. Paint a little on there. Alright guys, it's been a couple hours, glue is dry, so we are ready to level that out. I did try to do one over here, but it kind of chunked off, and I'm kind of getting at it. This wood over here is pretty rotten, so what I'm going to end up doing is just cutting this completely off like so. So I'm just going to leave those 2 bow ties right there. And I'll leave these cracks, they're not too big. So yeah, let's start by basically taking a plane and shaving this guy down pretty close, and then we're going to sand the rest of it. Pretty close right there. I think it sat a little uneven. So I'm just trying to take the first bit off. So now actually I can just plane at an angle. And that actually is nice and perfectly smooth. So I don't really need to sand it, but I am going to sand it because I need to sand the rest of this. But yeah, a good sharp plane is really all you need. Alright, there we go. Now I've just got to sand this whole piece. I got this on some Rockler bench cookies to keep it isolated. Starting with 80 grit, and we're going to move up. So there we go, sanded down, smoothed out. This is sanded up to 180. I'm going to keep going eventually, and then take care of the whole sort of slab. But that's going to probably be next time, because I think building the table is going to be its own video. Alright, that's going to be it for today. I'll see you next time. Thanks for watching. Alright, that's going to be it for today.